It's your boy AD back with another video. Now today's video we're gonna be doing with Naruto was the leader of the Ten Commandments, part 4. So yeah. Anyways, get this video for the likes for the next part, and yeah, check out the person that made this thumbnail for me. His name is his YouTube channel is Lifeless. So I will leave a link in the description down below so you can check out his channel. He does some pretty good with this, but yeah. Anyways. But for the new, let's just get the video started.
Yeah! I will not let you destroy my world!
Oh yeah. Anyways, before I actually start this video, I just want to tell you that I'm gonna be posting a poll, I guess, or a post or something, a little bit later tonight or so. I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be pretty much asking if you guys would like me to do a what if Naruto had the Death Note, where I would change the rules a little bit, where like you wouldn't have to have a miserable life and shit and stuff like that. Basically, I would make it more OP. All right. Anyways, without further ado, let's just get this actually started. So we start this one off with Minato Namikaze saying we will invite them to the exams and try to make him love us more than anything, and then we will make him take over the world, but let us basically rule it as like make the rules and all that stuff. He's just gonna be like the or basically military, and we're gonna be like the person giving him orders and stuff with a smirk on his face. As then somebody else says, what about the other 10 commandments? As then basically now Minato says, well, we'll let Naruto pick 2 of them to be part of his team and one of them to be his team captain basically. As then he says, okay, Kakashi call as then he calls an Umbu saying, Yamato, well, you have a mission. I have a mission for you to find the 10 commandments. Well, I guess the 11 now, and basically tell them that they're invited to join the exams. As then Yamato basically disappears. Skip later on that night, we see Yamato, who was sleeping in a forest, to be more specific, basically inside of kind of a tree, but then he opens his eyes and looked at the sky to see 11 black flashes falling to the ground. He felt like he was staring at fear as death itself basically. As then he basically like his eyes get adjusted to like the darkness that was surrounding the place now. As then he sees Meliodas and the 10 commandments, which Meliodas is now like he sees Naruto is not Meliodas' body basically. Or anyways, as then Naruto and Estarossa and Menascula and Darieri walk up to him with with basically Yamato shaking in fear. This to him feeling like he's staring at death or something. Like, as then Naruto and them stop as he says, I heard you've been looking for me. As then Yamato would say yes. As then Naruto says, well, what do you want basically? As then Yamato says, the Hokage-sama has ordered me to find you and invite you to the Chunin exams. As then Naruto goes in a thinking position, and as then Naruto says, okay, well, I heard that people have to be on a team, so will you guys be picking my team, or do I get to pick my own team? As then he says, you can pick your own team, whoever you want, as long as they haven't committed any crimes against the Hidden Leaf Village personally. As then Naruto says, okay. As then he says, register me, Menascula, Darieri, and little boy Estarossa as a team leader. As then Yamato would nod, and then Naruto and the others got surrounded by darkness and basically disappear in a black basically flash, I guess, whatever. Anyways, basically Yamato got this, basically he almost wet himself, as then he catches his breath and basically went back to the village, explaining what happened to explaining what happened with the interaction and whatnot and so on. As then they told some ambos to watch over their every single move. As then we skip to the day of the exams. Mema and Mito has the same interaction with Gaara as in canon and so on. Then we see Kanko was holding on to Konohamaru by the collar and whatnot. As then we see Naruto, Melascula, Daieri, and Estarossa laying on the ground. As then there was like basically darkness starting to envelop the place, like it's coming out of the ground basically, and then the darkness basically disappeared to reveal of the basically, you know, Daieri and all of them. As then saying pretty much Daieri says why do we have to come here again? As then Naruto Melascula says, well, we're here for him, remember? As her tongue basically comes out of her mouth, pointing towards Gaara. As then Tamari jumps on the way and getting in front of Gaara, basically in a defensive position, saying, what do you want with him, basically? As then Estarossa then sighs, as saying, big brother, can I say it? As Naruto nods, as then Estarossa lays back in the tree and saying, we're not here after Gaara himself, but the pet inside of him, referring to the One-Tails. As then Gaara starts to scream, saying mother wants out, mother wants to go. Then Estarossa says, well, it's a boy, so why are you calling him mother? But he says, don't worry about it, he'll be out soon enough, with a smirk on his face. As then darkness come over them and basically they start flying away while saying see ya in the exams as they disappear. As we skip 30 minutes later, Melascula, Daieri, and Naruto were relaxing, with Melascula trying to wrap herself around Naruto to cuddle with him, and Daieri sleeping next to him. But it all basically ended when the door was kicked open by Mema, with Mito following behind him and Sasuke as well. As they enter the room saying, hello, losers, are you ready to lose? Because I'm going to win these exams and become the next Hokage, the greatest Hokage the world has ever seen. Oh my gosh. As he had a pretty much a confident look in his eyes. As then Kabuto came up to him saying how he was getting a lot of bad attention and so on. Like, you know, as then he offers to give them information as they go on to ask about Gaara, Meliodas, due to Naruto is just registering under the name of Meliodas, and Melascula and Daieri and Estarossa. As then he goes on to tell about Gaara, like in canon, saying that he did B-rank mission and whatnot without a scratch on him. And yeah, and he also explained how Kanko and Tamari are his teammates and so on. And then he took out 4 other cards saying basically these are the other people you asked for. And then he says, which one would you like to know first? But then another voice saying, how about none of them? As then a hand like basically went, like we see Naruto basically we see Naruto basically standing up. As then Mema says and what makes you think we would basically not ask, like what makes you think that we would actually listen to you and not ask for the information. As then Naruto would sigh, and then Naruto then says, well, I warned you. As then he vanished and was then freaking, his arm was sticking to Kabuto's freaking, oh my gosh, bro. Alright, he vanished as then he appeared in front of Kabuto, and then his arm was piercing to his chest, but Kabuto used some healing jutsu, like healing abilities that he had in canon, to heal himself, but took it out of him though. So yeah. But then he didn't die or anything, but then he realized that the cards were missing, as then Naruto appeared back where he was, just laying back down. As then Naruto looked at them. Mema looked at Naruto with kind of fear, but not really that much. Like, it's like, how did you do that and shit, basically. As then you see the basic cards. Naruto reads the cards to himself, but not out loud, so nobody hears it. But then he basically burns him. As then Mema started to basically try and attack him, but was stopped by the proctor coming into the room and starting the exams. As then they start the exam with Naruto and his team quickly realizing that they need to cheat, and the people that they put in the exams, like to cheat off, they also realized who they were, but they were able to get easily without like the easy perfect score without even having to cheat or anything. As then Uncle comes to the room and goes the same as Kanen, with her saying, oh, the super sexy uncle, whatever is here. As when they were outside, Naruto and Dariewi were just making out while Uncle was going over the rules. She sent a kunai towards them, but was blocked. She sent a kunai towards Dariewi in Naruto's direction, but it was blocked and sent to a different direction by Dariewi's arm of darkness. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys know what that is, but yeah. Anyways, basically the arm of darkness sent it away. It get bounced off of it. As then Uncle tried coming behind her, thinking that there would be blood and shit, but to her surprise was stopped by Melaskira, who made her basically just screaming and showing her images of a snake, making her think of Orochimaru and kind of activating her curse mark a bit. As then we see the kunai basically scratch Mema and Mito both at the same time, and Sasuke as well. As Sasuke then was really impressed by Dariewi and thought she would be a worthy mate to rebuild his clan or whatever. As then they enter the forest of death, with the Naruto's team quickly finding a team as they start to laugh. As Menaskira, my bad. Menaskira goes down by herself to the team, saying, just give your skull and I won't kill you. As then the team starts to laugh, saying, there's 3 of us and 1 of you, plus you look like a weak little girl. As then Menaskira raised her hand and they all start to basically cough out some blood. As then they start screaming in pain and agony and holding their necks, basically trying to stop the pain. As we see their souls basically come out of their mouth, and Menaskira use her tongue to basically wrap the 3 of them together and eat them, killing them in the process. Then she grabs the skulls, go back to the team, and they're about to go to the tower until they sense a weird energy and decide to go there. As they get there to see Sasuke in this curse mark, who just woke up, but this time the tree sound gaining weren't there, and Yeah. And the scene was basically sleeping as he had the curse mark activated. Then he saw Naruto, Minascula, and Daiyori land in front of him as he smirked and walked up to them and grabbed onto the Daiyori's arm. As then she says, "What do you want?" As he then says, "I'm giving you the honor of being the first to help revive the great Uchiha clan," for arrogant tone. As then Dario says, "Why the hell would I do that?" That would, as Sasuke said, because the Uchiha is the strongest clan in the world, so you should be grateful for getting to be useful to it, basically. As then Dario says, "Well, too bad. It was actually not that strong of a clan since it got completely wiped out by a single, in a single night by just one person. Now that's just pathetic." As then she says, well, with the exception of you failure of an Uchiha." As then Sasuke says, if you don't want to obey me, I'll just have to force you to." As he tries to basically pull her and shit, only to get punched in the face, sending him flying to a tree. As then he got smacked into a tree, and then he got kicked down he got punched down and shit to the ground, making a big crater under him. Then he was hit about 5 more times by 5 more punches, with every single one of them multiplying by 2 in powers and shit. As they all landed in this private area, destroying it, making Sasuke never be able to use his reproductive organs again. As Sasuke was completely knocked out. As then Naruto and this team goes to his tower like nothing ever happened. As then when they get there, and if everything else happened the same. As then the preliminary rounds arrive and shit. As Naruto versus Kiba, Naruto just set him with fire using his black flames, killing him. Sakura versus Daiyori. Sakura basically got mad, screaming about how Daiyori shouldn't have done that, shouldn't have destroyed Sasuke like that, and all that bullshit. But Daiyori got annoyed and isn't really looking for a lecture or whatever, and just basically ran up to her and started pummeling her to the ground, to death, basically. As every single punches, you just see basically bones cracking and blood spitting all over the floor and shit. As then she was when Dario stopped, she was still alive and taken to the hospital, but all they could do was slow her death down. She would die basically slowly and suffering, as basically she would basically feel like a broken. Yeah, she would just feel really broken and shit. As then we see Melascula versus Ino. Ino tries using the mind transfer jutsu on Melascula, which it worked on her. As then Ino woke up to basically empty dark room to see, and then she basically started walking around until we see basically Melascula appear in a spirit form, saying, like a ghostly form, I guess, saying, "So you're trying to come to my mind? Well, you will regret it." As Ino says, "What makes you think that?" As Melascula grinned evilly, saying, "You see my true form." As Ino says, "What do you mean?" As then they hear a hiss, a freaking staircase thing, whatever. As she says, "Well, your answer, or basically right over there," pointing in the direction of where the sound was coming from. As then Ino basically gulped and started walking to the direction. And then the ground basically started to shake, as then it opened, revealing a giant white snake. Basically, quick, like, was basically screaming in fear and shit, like freaking like getting freaked out and whatnot. As then, quickly broke the Manchester Jutsu, saying I gave up, as she was running running as far away as she could while saying it, with pure terror in her eyes. As then we skip to the warm-up training trip, as Naruto and his team would basically be hanging out most of the month, with most of the villagers, most of the village girls asking out Estarossa, but he would always just get enveloped by darkness and disappear. As we skip to the day before the exams, there was a council meeting with Hayashi and the clan head, with like Hayashi Hyuga, Miyato Namikaze, Kushina Uzumaki, and all the other clans head and everything, even the civilian council actually. Which then Hayashi says, no, not Hayashi. I mean, just when the person says, "Let's get this meeting started." But this is pretty much what I'm gonna be doing. I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed. So about basically messing up a lot. But yeah. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of this, and yeah, if you enjoy, leave a like. 40 likes for the next part, my bad. But yeah, anyways, without further ado, I'm gonna be out for now. Peace.